This is the Citroen Oli concept. And in this video, I'm going to talk you through its wacky features that offer a glimpse of a genuinely, and I mean genuinely, sustainable automotive future. Now this is easily one of the most fun-looking concepts of recent years. It's very Citroen. They're going back to what they're best at, which is quirky and slightly crazy design. And no less is that clearer than all over the exterior of this car. I mean, right at the front here, we've got these cool LED lights which flash orange entirely when you indicate. And then if you look around to the side, you've got this chunky, curvy bodywork which mixes curved glass with thick, swelled wheel arches. And at the rear, you've got another cool lighting design here, which actually has a real 3D effect. It's got two of the new Citroen logos in there, and they're visible through the middle. It almost looks like you're looking into a Berlin techno rave through the front door. It's very, very cool. And then this tailgate here is movable and adaptable. It can do lots of different things, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So design-wise, this is a cool looking car, isn't it? But the design is only a small part of what this car is all about. No, the Oli is mostly about how it's produced and how it can be recycled, because everything on this car is either made from a recycled material or can be fully recycled. So it's extremely sustainable. But then it goes further, because it uses some pretty amazing materials, starting with cardboard. And I'm not even kidding. Have a look at this. Now this might look like it's made from metal, and it probably should be, given that you're supposed to stand on this, same as on the roof as well, but it's actually made from, as I can demonstrate with this BASF supplied piece of demonstration material, it is actually cardboard. Look, you can see here, especially on this unpainted section here, that this material, it feels very strong, but it's extremely light, kind of like carbon fiber, but it's made from the same type of structure as the materials you get in, for example, packaging. When you order stuff online that comes in a box, often it's packed out with stuff like this. So that means it's very strong, it's very light, and crucially for the Oli, it means it's fully sustainable. Now I know what you're thinking, WTF, there's a vertical windscreen, and that's not going to be very aerodynamic, is it? That's not very sustainable, because it's going to need a lot of energy to power through the wind. Well, handily, the designers on the Oli have thought that through, because what they've used is a very clever technique used on other brands as well. McLaren do it with their open-top sports cars, and it's come from Formula One, and it basically sends air from the front of the car through vents here in the headlight, and then it comes up through this air duct and actually sends the air over the car. So this area is of very low pressure, so that means you've got minimal drag. So you get your vertical windscreen, which is good for visibility, but also interestingly, it also means it's cheaper and easier to make and needs less material than if it was a curved windscreen. All to do with sustainability. Under here as well, there is some storage space. So if I lift this up here, as you can see in this particular Oli, we have our charge cables, but you would also have space under here to be used as storage for something else. But there's more at the front, although this one is a bit more design focused. This is of course where your charge port goes, so they've hidden it nicely under the new badge, which is pretty nifty. And of course, as you probably noticed at the start of the video, you can actually clamber up the Oli because these cardboard surfaces are very tough. And as you'll see on the roof, we've got some racks here which you can obviously hang everything from a bicycle all the way up to maybe a tent box. So I suppose you could sleep on your Oli if you wanted to. The wheels are actually really interesting as well. Not only are they made from 3 materials, you've got aluminium and steel, and then also a plastic hubcap here, but also this design integrates a bit of felt so that it extends from the tyre onto the wheel here, which looks pretty cool. And then there are these wheel arch covers, which across the whole car on all 4 corners are identical in shape, which not only means if you damage or scuff one that you only have to buy one part, but it also means Citroen only has to produce one type of arch. So it's cheaper and it's easier, and of course that makes it more sustainable. And the same goes for these bumpers down here. They're very Citroen. As we know, previous models have featured bumper technology. They don't just protect the door itself, but they also are all identical in shape. So if you get one damaged or one dented, you just got to replace it with the same type of part. Brilliant. But there's more. These glass windows on both sides of the car are identical in shape as well. So if you get one of these damaged or you need to replace them, again, it's the same story. Citroen only has to make one shape part. And you might think, well, why would they bother having this curved shape? Well, of course, there's a reason behind that. It's because there is a vent here which actually feeds into this rear window here. Now, if you open this window from the inside, you will be able to receive your airflow through here. It's more aerodynamic because it doesn't fold down like a traditional window, but it means that your airflow is directed directly onto the rear passenger. So they actually get cooled properly. And oh, by the way, check out how these windows open. Around the back, there's even more. Firstly, we've got this milled aluminium piece up here with some text in it there, but when I lower this tailgate, the Oli, it basically becomes a bit of a pickup, especially when I do this. If I take this out and lower it down here, we've got a flat bed, so you can pick up things with that. But look at this, check this out. There's another thing. And as you also might have noticed, if I fold this back down here, there is this rail here which you can attach things to. So you could attach, for example, a fabric canopy. So if you wanted to hang out in the back here, you could have some shelter, or also you can hook some GoPros maybe off the back of it as well. And the same goes for the same design that we have on the rear lights here. You can hang your cameras or your GoPros here. So if you want to go adventuring in your Oli, you can capture it and share your content. So we're behind the wheel of the Oli now, and you can probably hear a slight whine. That's because it's got a hydraulic pump, which obviously wouldn't make production if this was a production car, but it's a concept, so it's got squeaks and rattles like they always do. There are some stats with this car, even though of course they're very much pie in the sky, but it has a 40 kilowatt hour battery, which is pretty reasonable, but it will be capable, we're told, of 400 kilometers between charges, which is really very good actually. And that's because this thing weighs only 1 ton, which of course for an EV is barely believable. Now much of that has been achieved because of the materials used on the outside of the car, and also of course because of the way the interior is made, and also how simple it is. Now, despite being very simple and deliberately so, there are actually loads of features to talk about. Some of them are actually features that don't exist in the car, but yet still do somehow. For example, the sound system. Now, this car doesn't have a built-in sound system to save weight and all of the sustainability things that are associated with that. It basically takes advantage of something that most of us will have in our homes, and that is Bluetooth speakers. So this car has slots on the dashboard here for you to put your Bluetooth speakers on. And then of course, you can connect your phone to these speakers, which are removable. And you can connect your phone, which can live in here and act as the sound system and also as the car's infotainment system. So it means it doesn't have to have any kind of computer in the car. It just saves so much weight, so much technology, so many materials, etc., etc. Although there are actually some screens up here, and they're very cool. They do show various displays, and when you indicate, they also show an image of the Oli turning in the direction that you're indicating, which is pretty nifty and very cool. Elsewhere in the interior, we've got lots of sustainable materials. Everything in here is either recyclable or recycled, right down to the floor, which down here is made using a recycled material. And you also get these seats, which are made from just 3 parts, and they get this very cool honeycomb effect on the back here. It means they're very comfortable, it means they're light, and of course they're sustainable and easier to make. Then there are the armrests on the door, which are shared and they're identical on both sides. So just like those bits on the exterior, it means that Citroen only has to make one type of part for the interior. And as you'll see, there's not much in the doors. Everything's really simple, lighter, cheaper, you name it. Sustainability is what this car's all about. It's also quite functional though. You've got a few controls. You've got your heating controls up here, which are buttons. I love buttons. And then you've got these sections down here where you can put objects, whether it's your phone or a pen or I don't know, your house keys. They look a little bit like a golf tee, but of course they double up as something to keep everything stable. And the door handles as well are very simple. They pull this rope basically here. It feels a bit like a GT3 RS maybe, but also saves on materials. Talking about doors, they're pretty cool on this car. The Oli front door is pretty normal, but it's the back door which opens like a Rolls Royce. Check that out. And it means you've got a really wide opening into the cabin, and it makes getting into the back seat very, very easy indeed. And these seats, of course, are just like the front ones, very sustainable, made with all the same kind of techniques. And because you've got this structure on the rear of the seats ahead of you, you can have a screen attached, and in this case, you can have your headphone case as well. And then there's a USB-C port there as well. So you can have your infotainment and entertainment in the back. And you've, of course, got more storage space down here. So this is a fun, comfortable place to spend a long time indeed. So there we have it. The Citroen Oli is an exciting glimpse of an automotive future with genuine sustainability. One I think we can all agree would be very good for the planet indeed. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below and we'll pass them on to Citroen, and hopefully this thing will become a reality. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to click the thumbs up button and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But for now, it's goodbye for me and goodbye from Oli.